Good morning. It's so funny. As I was editing my other videos, I would always be like, it is, like every time. I'd always be like, it is 8 o'clock. It is 7:30 p.m. I don't know. Found it weird. But anyway, it's 7. See, it's more casual. Morning. What's up? It's 7. Anyway. It's like 7:15, and I made it through the first night. One night down. Survived. Shit. I didn't get great sleep, I'm not gonna lie. It was really hot yesterday. It was like 70 degrees and sunny. And it was just hot and muggy in my car. I slept with just my thin comforter on. And beneath me I had a sheet. Fortunately, that was on top of my fuzzy blanket, because I have a fuzzy, like, I don't know, it's just a fuzzy blanket. In my bed right now, but I have a sheet on top of it, so I was able to sleep on top of the sheet. Because if my skin was in contact with that fuzzy blanket, I would have been so hot. But anyway, I also used I don't know if you can see it, but my fan, which most of the northern New England trip, I just didn't use my fan because it was kind of cold. So it's kind of funny, like, it wasn't even that hot, but last night, and even, yesterday when I was getting the car ready and stuff, and I had the sun beating down on me, I'm like, can it be a little bit colder? It's just been a really warm fall, which is a good thing, but there's just certain scenarios where you want it to be not so hot. And it got me thinking last night. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of glad that I don't really plan on doing a ton of traveling next summer. So anyway, it was hot. Excuse me. It was hot. I woke up like 3 or 4 times throughout the night. Went to bed, fell asleep around 11. And woke up like 3-4 times, and then my alarm just went off at 7, and I have to go to the bathroom. So we're gonna head to Planet Fitness. I think just to avoid having to move my car, having to find parking, I'm just gonna walk to and from the Planet Fitness. It's about half a mile away. So, when it comes to, being in New York anyway, or when it comes to being in New York, what I want to do is kind of walk around and see what there is anyway. So, I shouldn't be afraid of a half a mile walk, because my plan for what I want to do for fun is walk around. And, yeah, so that's that. Last night, after I recorded the little intro of arriving in New York, I decided to just not really vlog much, or not vlog anymore. Obviously, I took some B-roll. But basically, a rundown of what happened was I got there at like 7:45. Left my car at 8. I went for like a 45-ish minute walk. And then for about half an hour, I sat on a bench in a park in downtown Brooklyn, like right around the corner from my car. I got back to my car, and I got a parking ticket. Now, there was one car in front of me still, parked in front of me, that also got a ticket. When I pulled up to the parking spot, there were, I think, 3 or 4 cars, at least 3 cars, on that side of the street. And so I just parked behind them. There wasn't a sign nearby. I believe there was only a sign kind of at the beginning and end of that section of the street. I had read so many things online from van lifers talking about how, unrestricted parking is in New York, right? Yeah, there's a lot of cars, so it can be difficult to find a spot at times. But, like, it's not like Boston, where almost every damn street in the main parts are permit parking only. So I was just excited, and I just wasn't thinking. The other side, I saw the signs on the other side of the street. those were just street cleaning, and I just assumed both sides of the street. It was a really wide street. Why would you not be able to park on both sides? But the left side was a no standing zone. You can't even stop your car. And there were just 3 or 4 idiots in front of me who did. And I just assumed I could park there because other people parked there. And I walked back, like I said, there was a ticket on my car. I looked at it, $115. New York City does not fuck around. $115. I like didn't even get, I'm still like, there was a period after a little bit where I was a little bit mad. But like, I don't even let myself get mad at that. That's just ridiculous. Like, I'm someone who, like, little things piss me off, and I get mad when, like, little things happen. But $115, like, once something's actually bad, I just, like, I have to force myself to be like, all right, calm down, not a big deal. Whereas, like, if it's a small thing, I don't, like, work on being not mad. Does that make sense? Like, I let little things get to me, but when it's a big thing, I, like, actually work to not be mad. But regardless, my initial reaction wasn't me being mad. I was like, what the fuck? This is so ridiculous. $115. The good thing is, I think, I don't know if it's a tow zone. I couldn't remember what the sign said, but I know in Boston, no standing zones are tow zones. So, I mean, I'm very glad that I didn't get towed. And, it was just a sign. It was a sign, within an hour of me being in New York that, like, you gotta be better than this. You gotta actually, like, you know, be on your toes and plan, and maybe not plan, but just be more vigilant, you know? Don't be so dumb. Car life, van life, it's not really the type of life where you can just be super lax and not be, you know, stay on your toes. So it was just a quick reminder at the beginning of my trip that throughout this trip, I have to be on top of my game. And and it was funny. The ticket, it has obviously what time I got the ticket. 15 minutes after I left my car, because I was like right in downtown Brooklyn, so it makes sense that, you know, the meter maid or meter police, whatever, was just, they patrol that area heavy, I'm sure. So yeah, got a $115 ticket. I went online immediately and tried to pay it, and like I couldn't find the ticket either with the ticket violation number on my license. So I don't know if in Boston they process that shit like immediately, but I don't know. I'll try again this morning. Maybe I'll have to figure something out. I was doing it wrong. I don't know, but I think I'll do that before I head to Planet Fitness. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But off to a hot start. I was like, wow, that's a bad omen. That's a sign. Like, don't try and live here. Like, it's, you know, I don't know, something bad's gonna happen. I don't even want to say that, but yeah, I'm out here trying not to spend a few dollars here and there, and $115 later. But anyway, once I got that ticket, I was like, all right, I gotta find a real place to sleep. I drove around for probably half an hour. It was tough. I drove over here to Brooklyn Heights, which was it was nearby. And because I just saw some Overlander spots over here. And I drove to an Overlander spot, and just this neighborhood that I ended up finding a spot in, well, the neighborhood is Brooklyn Heights. It's really nice. You know, I drove to the spot on Overlander. There wasn't a parking spot available there. It was just a random street parking. But this neighborhood is just really nice. It actually reminds me of Boston because it's kind of like brownstones, which are just a style of brick building. And yeah, I drove around for like 20 minutes once I got here. It was tough to find a spot because it was about 10 o'clock, 10:30. Everyone had already found their parking spot for the night. But I ended up finding a spot. There were a lot of spots along this main road that I'm just off of right now that's commercial. I could have found a spot there. I just didn't want to because in the morning there are meters there, so I would have to start paying. I don't know what time. I have to check. But that's that. Once I found a spot, I really had to go pee. I debated just using my pee bottle, but I didn't want to have to deal with dumping that in the morning because dumping that in the city is obviously much harder than when you're in the suburbs or in rural areas. I was like, you know what, let me just go into a business. So there's this like market little grocery store, local grocery store across the street from the street I'm parked on. And I went in, and the man at the register told me where the bathroom was. And then after where he told me, he's like, you have to buy something after though. And I was like, all right, whatever. And when I first looked at that grocery store, I looked it up online to see if it was open, and I saw the reviews, and it said $10 minimum with a credit card. So I didn't even double check to see if that was true. And what I really should have done, if I was smart, is I should have brought some cash with me. I should have just brought, a little bit of cash in case I needed to buy something, knowing that there was a credit card minimum. But basically, after I went to the bathroom, I was like, all right, I'll be nice. And even though I could just walk out of here and say, fuck you, I'm going to buy, I guess, $10 worth of stuff, because someone online said there's a $10 minimum for a credit card. And so I looked around, and their prices were so expensive. I mean, I'm sure in general New York is expensive, but this little mom and pop grocery store, which I guess, it's better to support them than a big corporate chain anyway. But I don't know. Everything was like double the price of what it normally is at a typical grocery store, where I'm from in Massachusetts at least. So I ended up buying a thing of Cabot cheddar cheese, which was like $6. And then I bought a can of soup, which was like $4.50. At least the can of soup, which was Progresso. At least the can of soup is a meal. So $4.50 for a meal is not bad. But the $6 for, 10 or 12 slices of cheese or whatever was kind of painful. But, I need to stop saying Why am I saying so much this morning? Jesus. But if you look at it, I paid $10. It was like $10.50, whatever. But I paid $10 for items that should have been like $6, $7. But I paid like $3, $4 to go to the bathroom, And would I have paid $3, $4 to go to the bathroom in that moment? Yes. So it's not a big deal. I went back to my car, got in it. Something I realized is last night, even before I decided that I was going to get out of my car to go to the bathroom, I got out of my car to just look around, make sure I wasn't parked in front of a fire hydrant, make sure I wasn't parked in front of like a handicap ramp or some sort of driveway, even though I could see I wasn't. But, walk around, look at the street signs, because I didn't want to get another parking ticket. And although in general I'm a firm believer in one of the van life rules that, like, once you find a place to sleep, don't get out of your vehicle, because then someone will see you get out, they'll see you outside your vehicle, then they'll see you get into your vehicle, and they won't see you come out again. And so they know that you're in there, they know you're living in there, it gives it away, whatever. This is a very quiet neighborhood in Brooklyn. Regardless, in the city, people are minding their own business, and I don't stand out. That's something that I thought would be the case, and people talk about it online when it comes to van life in the city, is, being stealthy. It's just not, well, it depends on how you're stealthy, but, like, it's not like a rural or suburban area where you stand out like a sore thumb even if you get out of your car. Like, people will notice you. People don't even notice you in the city. There's just so many people walking around. You don't stand out. So I had no fear of getting out of my car, looking around, making sure I was in a good parking spot. I got back in my car, and then I got out again, and I went to the store, and I got back from the store, and, no one was even around on the street, which is a good thing. I was really happy with this neighborhood selection. It seems really safe, and it was also just really quiet. There was like basically no foot traffic on this street, even though I'm just off of a main street where there was some foot traffic. So that kind of wraps up how last night went. It does suck that I got a $115 parking ticket, but I'm going to try not to think about it too much, try not to let it impact my spending habits, because, I'm here. I definitely don't plan on spending a lot of money, but I don't want to just live off ramen all week, just because I got a parking ticket. So, as my dad would say, that stupid tax, I'm going to pay the stupid tax and just move on. So, it's probably around it's around 7:30 now. It's time to go to Planet Fitness, use the bathroom, take a shower, work out. Not in that order. We're going to take a shower after we work out. But anyway, let's go on a nice little walk over to Planet Fitness. I got to get dressed. Got to get changed. Yeah, I got to get dressed. And let's start our day. This is day 1. I realized in the editing of the other videos, I need to hold my phone further from me so that when I crop it for shorts in TikToks, it doesn't look so stupid. But this is day 1 of living in my car in New York. Let's go to Planet Fitness. This is where I parked this. What's up? It's almost 10:30. I just went back to my car, and I put away my gym stuff, got my breakfast. I also got an orange, and I'm walking towards the, basically Dumbo. I'm walking towards the Brooklyn Bridge. There are a couple parks over there. They look out over Manhattan, so that's where I'm gonna have my breakfast and just go on a nice little walk. And I don't really know exactly what I want to do today, but all I do know is that it's super nice. It's super nice out. It's gonna be like 72 and sunny. So I'm thinking of going into Manhattan and walking around and probably going to Central Park. So that's the plan as of now. If you've watched my videos, you know it's probably gonna change. So talk later.
beautiful. Maya, look how gorgeous it is here.
Like
Let's just keep walking and looking at it.
What's going on? It's 9 o'clock pretty much. And I got back to my car maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes ago. I was on the phone with my girlfriend and then was just kind of researching where to go next. I was kind of planning on just sleeping in the same spot just because it's such a quiet and seemingly safe area. But I do have to go to the bathroom and I don't feel like walking to one. I don't feel like trying the businesses near me and potentially paying or anything. I don't know. I just kind of saw it as an opportunity for me to go to a different area because I was like, you know what? Let me just drive to a Planet Fitness and try and park near it and use that bathroom just because it's easy and definitely free. But yeah, so I decided to go to Bay Ridge. It's the southwest most neighborhood of Brooklyn. Allegedly pretty safe, and which is good because I kind of was planning on going to like Coney Island or something tomorrow. So I don't know, I've never been there. I don't even know really what it's about or if it's worth stopping by this time of year or whatever, but anyway, I don't know. But yeah, I'm really tired, if that's not obvious. I did a lot today, and which I'm sure you just saw in a montage probably. And I broke my record for steps in a day. I took 30,000 steps. I'm like 30 steps away, which I'm sure I'll hit when I walk to Planet Fitness from my car. And if I don't, I'll literally walk a little bit so that I make sure that I do. But I'm at like 29,970 steps. It's something crazy, but maybe I'll talk about today more tomorrow or something. I really don't have it in me to do a full recap, but basically ate breakfast on the Brooklyn Heights Promenade, looking out over, the southern part of Manhattan with One World Trade Center and the Statue of Liberty. Walked down to the Brooklyn Bridge Park and the pier next to it, which was really cool. It had handball, pickleball, roller skating, tons of basketball courts, just a playground, a workout area, a big turf field. It was really cool. I FaceTimed my dad, talked to him for a little while. I guess I'm doing a full recap. It is what it is. But I came back here, ate a quick lunch. I literally ate a cheese sandwich. I really felt like eating the cheddar cheese that I bought last night, and I was just in the mood for it. I don't know, I'm weird. And I was like, screw it, I'll just put it on bread. And honestly, it was really good. I had 2 of them. And I had some cherry tomatoes. That was my lunch. And before eating breakfast on the promenade, I did go to Planet Fitness, which was in the montage, but I walked to Planet Fitness in downtown Brooklyn. Anyway, after I ate lunch, I walked across the Brooklyn Bridge into Manhattan. Then I took a train to like the midpoint of Central Park. There's a huge reservoir in the middle of Central Park, and there's a running/walking path around it. I walked about half of it, got an amazing view of the really tall buildings on the downtown Manhattan side, like the Billionaires Row buildings, those brand new, really skinny skyscrapers, and just walked all through Central Park. Set up my picnic blanket, ate some snacks, and listened to this old man play music. And it was really good, relaxing, and just took like an awake nap, if that makes sense. Just laid there with my eyes closed. And did a lot more walking in Central Park. Walked to the Jersey side of Manhattan coast, caught the sunset, hung out on one of the piers for a while, enjoyed the sunset. Then I walked unintentionally to Times Square, hung out in Times Square, watched some street performers, sat on those like stair things, and just kind of people watched and stuff, and watched street performers from a distance. And then I took the train back here. There's actually a train station literally around the corner from this parking spot. I didn't even know that. If I didn't want to park in a different spot, or just in general, I don't know, this parking spot's great. It's right around the corner from the Brooklyn Bridge. It's right around the corner from the Brooklyn Bridge Park, which has public bathrooms. Plenty of shops around. I'm just off of a commercial street with shops and stores and restaurants. But I'm also on the edge of an extremely quiet and seemingly safe neighborhood. And I'm right around the corner from the train. So it's a really good spot. I am going to give it up for sake of just exploring and not staying in the same spot. That's my little recap. I'm absolutely exhausted. It's 9 o'clock. I'm going to drive to southern Brooklyn, go to the Planet Fitness, go to the bathroom, find a good spot to sleep, and then we'll wake up, go to Planet Fitness, start our day. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you guys in the morning.